From 23, we've gone down to 20 starting the final night, and we're left with 18 to contest the 40 laps. To find out who will be our new state champion, can Brendan Fraser hold on to it from 7th place in a borrowed car? Or will it be one of our front row? Both Nathan Penn and Jake Malcolm have been exceptional tonight. How much does Luke Fraser want to have a one on his side? And Callan Bull, he's been impressive tonight but hasn't taken a win all weekend long. But then you got to look at Laurie Dowsett. He won last time we were here, and we know what the gentleman is like, Kyle Sayer in car number 15.
Yeah, what a lineup. You can't. Picking a winner is very, very tough out of the field that we have for this state final for modified sedans. Great to have witnessed such a great state title thus far. 12 qualifying heats in the books. We saw some great racing across the 2 nights in this 40-lap final, and these absolutely picturesque track conditions at the moment. Graham Genevini's team here at the Makes Moan History Collie Speedway done an outstanding job putting this track together for this big event for SSA modified sedans. Look at the...
yeah, I think this is a time, Collie. Come on, make some noise.
Indeed. Get up on your feet, Collie.
What about turns 1 and 2? Shine your lights, beat your horns, clap your hands. Come on, we want to see an array of lights. Come on. No one. Oh, what about that? We've even got the phone lights on. That's even better to see. What about the back straight? Do you want to turn your phone lights on for us? No. There we go. There we go. Do what turn 2's doing. Lead by example. Shine those lights. Oh, this is awesome. There we go. Look at that on the back straight. Thank you so much for doing that. What about turns 1 and 2? That was awesome. Thank you so much. How about 3 and 4? There we go. Get those phone lights out. One more time as they go around before we let him ignite in anger. And again to the front straight. There we go. This is cool. Collie, you've lighted up for us all weekend long. And now it's time for our 18 remaining drivers to do so. There's the woodwork that they're all fighting for on the back of the Ian Deepin Ute. Alan.
I can't wait, Morgan. I got goosebumps at the moment.
Oh, man, it's so cool to see everyone shining the lights. That's awesome. Thank you so much. We're doing it for you, the fans.
Great crowd here tonight for this second night. The Modified Sedan State title. We thank each and every one of you for coming along here tonight. Plenty of noise happening here in the front straight from the crowd on hand. Looking forward to this big finale to the Modified Sedan State title. Holden versus Ford at its absolute best. Make some noise one final time here in the front straight, Collie. Send them on their way. The Modified Sedans have got 40 long laps ahead of them. The current champion, Brendan Fraser, in the field, along with 2 former winners in Anthony King and Matt Noakes, who are standing alongside of each other on that 5th row. Potential winners right through the field. Alan Mortimer, also a former winner of this event as well. Flashing the lights, Morgan Melbourne. The Surprise Meat Supply SSA Modified Sedan State title, the 42nd running, is set for a dispatch.
Set to fire him away for 40 laps. Penn and Malcolm, the state final is green. Right on the brink of 9 o'clock, we fire him away for the first time of 40 laps, and it's Penn that got the blinder. Malcolm, who's been fighting with the outside line all weekend long, almost fell back to 4th place as Penn and Ball go at it. Kyle Sayer on the top side, but lap number 1 goes away, and Nathan Penn. Malcolm's finally found the groove on the outside as he tries to draws level with Nathan Penn as from the 3rd row. Kyle Sayer's on a move. He's finished 2nd place in a state title here in production sedans. in the 2019. How good would it be to see him on the top step in a modified sedan as Malcolm's hit the front? Jake Malcolm's your new race leader as he's floated with the top side again. Then it's Nathan Penn, Kyle Sayer, and Luke Fraser. The top five's rounded out by Callum Balls, the sixth place driver of Laurie Dowsett, tries and darts away from Alan Mortimer. Then it's Anthony King, Brendan Fraser, Matthew Noakes, and Jack McCauley, who's had a great start in the 96. But with 3 down the gap, he's starting to widen out between Malcolm and Penn, who's starting to finally get some breathing room between himself and the 57, as it's a freight train behind Penn, as Sayer, who's finally come to grips with the racing rubber, even lifting the left front on the 95 machine, the Catchacana Beef Holden Commodore, fighting it out with the blue oval of Nathan Penn, as Luke Fraser is just doing the best he can to hold on to this battle for second, third and fourth. As they start to clear away from Callan Ball, who's got 7 cars right behind him, as Fraser and King go at it. That's for 9th place, as Brendan Fraser had a shocker, losing 2 positions early on. As he tries and claws back 1 on Anthony King. Malcolm does the quickest lap of the race. He's the only driver inside the 19.8s with a 19.874 as he goes quicker again. Identical lap times from Jake Malcolm with 6 laps completed. So we've got 3 distinct races going on at the moment. None of them for the race lead at the moment. It's the battle for second, the battle for 5th, and then the rest of the tailing field, as there's still 9 of them going at it. As Matthew Noakes, who won a title from well back in the field, is trying to claw in. There's 5 of them right behind Alan Mortimer now, as Anthony King tries to go on the inside of the 74. Brendan Fraser's been left out, hang to dry, as Noakes gets it behind him. Then it's Fraser, McCauley and Sean Fraser. Looks like the 96 has struck trouble. Trouble for the first of our drivers, and that's Jack McCauley in lap number 8. As he lets the field get past him. It's Laurie Dowsett, the quickest car on track at the moment, as Penn's doing everything he possibly can to hold on to second place. Malcolm has a comfortable bump at the moment with 9 laps down and 31 remaining. His lead is 1.2 seconds, as Laurie Dowsett, still the quickest car of the race. He goes quicker again at 19.749. With this time 30 laps remaining. It's a long way to go before we hit homeward bound.
Jake Malcolm leading by 1.2 seconds at the moment from Nathan Penn. Kyle Sayer sits in third from Luke Fraser and Laurie Dowsett, your top 5. Bit of a gap back to Callum Ball, Alan Mortimer, Anthony King, Matt Noakes, and the state champion is 10th at the moment with a lot of work to do to hold on to his state title. We're only 1/4 of the way through this A-main for the 42nd running of the modified sedan state title, and it's Jake Malcolm who leads by 1.2 seconds. Back to the Southern Haulage Falcon of Nathan Penn. Laurie Dowsett, the quick man on the racetrack at the moment, harassing the back bumper of Luke Fraser. In front of him, the 2 Falcons. 4th and 5th behind the 95 of Kyle Sayer, who made an outstanding start from the outside of the 3rd row to move himself from P6 to up into 3rd in the early laps. Callum Ball still 6th. He's holding off the 2009 WA champion Alan Mortimer. Anthony King is 8th from Brendan Fraser, as now Matt Noakes retires from the race, and the Ivex Industries Holden Commodore, a bit of smoke coming from the exhaust, and Noakes becomes the 2nd retirement after Jake McCauley retired on lap 8 in the ODH Mechanical Commodore. 27 laps remain, and Jake Malcolm, what a performance so far this weekend in car number 23, has really come of age in modified sedans in recent times, and he's putting together his career best performance in this division by a country mile in car number 23. Penn, Sayer, Luke Fraser and Laurie Dowsett still your top 5. Then 1.5 seconds back to Callum Ball. He's on his own in 6th place in the Bill Gibbs Excavations Commodore from Alan Mortimer, Anthony King. Brandon Fraser is now 9th from Sean Thayer, running out your top 10. Paul Stevens is 11th from Sam McCauley, Josh Stewart, Merv Penn, Kim Williams and Shane Dublin. Rounds out the 16 cars that remain with 25 laps remaining of the Make Smoking History Collie Speedway. The move an engine fire for Matt Noakes on the infield, but our officials attending to that while the green lights stay on. 24 remaining for Jake Malcolm, who's been outstanding this weekend in the KCM Transport number 23 Holden Commodore. The Southern Haulage Falcon of Nathan Penn just ever so slightly closing the gap. He's got it down to under a second between himself and our race leader Kyle Sayer is 3rd. from Luke Fraser and Laurie Dowsett. The leader looks like he might be in some distress. Jake Malcolm just had a bit of a moment on the exit of turn number 4. And all of a sudden, there's just half a second between himself and Nathan Penn. Is starting to have a bit of a mid-corner push. Is the 23 Commodore as he works his way down the back straight past the Griffin Cole sign into turn number 3. He's just starting to fall back to the clutches of Nathan Penn. There might be a bit of an issue in the steering department for car number 23. The rear end doesn't look as nice as it was only a couple of laps ago. The 23 Commodore with a little bit of a handling issue at the moment. He takes himself down the back straight. Nathan Penn and Kyle Sarah closing on our leader. There'll be 21 laps remaining. This time around on the Spryers Meat Supply SSA Modified Sedan State title here in Western Australia. And Malcolm has led the opening 19 laps. We're nearly halfway home. We've gone green so far without a stoppage. It's Malcolm from Penn, Sale, Luke Fraser and Laurie Dowsett, your top 5. Then a long way back to Callum Ball, Alan Mortimer 7th, and Sean Thayer and Brandon Fraser are side by side for 8th and 9th. And Paul Stevens rounds out your top 10. But Jake Malcolm is halfway home in the state final.
20 laps left to run. We've completed 20 and it's a race in 5 out in front. 20 laps unopposed at the moment for all these drivers as Shane Dublin is starting to wreak his ugly head in front of the leaders as Penn is starting to come to grips of Jake Malcolm, who's getting closed in big time. Nathan Penn is now 0.3 of a second behind that of Malcolm as he ducks to the inside on the 57. And Kyle says we've got 2 that have come together. 3 of them, in fact, the yellows will come on. Dowsett, that was lucky. 19 laps to go. We went the first 21 laps without a stoppage. Sorry, we've gone the first 20, so we'll go back to mid-race distances. Merv Penn, Shane Dublin, and it looks like the 33 of Kim Williams have come to a stop. Only 3 cars so far withdrew.
And we're halfway home, Morgan, and going to get a start this time around. Jake Malcolm, 20 laps between himself and a historic result here in Collie and the Modified Sedan State title.
Yeah, but he's still got 12 cars behind him that want to change that script on him. As we go green yet again, Malcolm, Penn, Sayer and Fraser. Well, how they'll lead themselves back into racing action. As Penn is not going to waste any time on trying to attack the 23, as his start race pace from Jake Malcolm is insane. And if he can hold on, this will be a memorable victory as he's able to clear off to at least a comfortable half a second gap as we get back underway. And luckily for him, Nathan Penn has got to fight Luke Fraser and Kyle Sayer in that spot for second, third and fourth. There's a great old team duel between them. You may as well include fifth in that one as Laurie Dowsett is right behind them, but it's Malcolm still leading as the gap stays stagnant at half a second. If Penn is able to finally clear off away from Kyle Sayer, he may be in with a chance of this one, but I could say the same as well for Sayer if he's able to get by the 57, as Penn is doing everything right as Laurie Dowsett has decided he's had enough of following the freight train on the bottom. Let's try the top shelf and get the wriggle on the top side where Malcolm has been so good all weekend long. So he holds on with 16 and a half laps remaining, and there's that freight train we talk about. Malcolm, Penn, Sayer and Fraser, as Laurie Dowsett the only one trying to buck the trend on the top side. As Callum Ball looks to the inside, the Bills excavating in car number 8 on the Ford Falcon and Laurie Dowsett. The gap hasn't changed at all between first, second, third or fourth, as Dowsett now is right on the back bumper of Luke Fraser, but all these drivers have to do is keep their mistakes at a minimal and they'll hold it off as the laps continue to tick on by. We've now got 15 to go. 15 laps remaining for Luke Malcolm, as that breathing room looks like it's starting to gain some traction now between himself and Penn. Sayer is getting the hurry up from Luke Fraser. They're all starting to get a little bit nasty and wanting to get the hurry up, but Nathan Penn is holding strong at the moment, doing everything right in this battle for second place as Sayer has got the pace in the Catchacana Beef Holden Commodore, but he's very sideways. He makes a muffle out of turn number 3 and 4, but he gains everything back in 1 and 2. 13 to go in a race that's just ticked over 14 minutes. It's been a dandy of a freight train as finally one pass has happened, and that is Alan Mortimer on Sean Thayer's Mortimer. Picks up a position with Thayer trying to make some moves on the outside. But it's now a 2-horse race for the lead. Who will it be between Malcolm and Penn as they finally got the better of Kyle Sayer? 11 laps to go. Oh, there looks like drama for our leader. He was very slow out of turn number 2. Is there something broken on the 23? The way that went through turn number 2, and Sayer around the outside. Kyle Sayer trying to move the move, and he hits the wall. Sayer goes into the concrete wall. We've got 10 laps remaining this time by, and an absolute dandy for the lead. Malcolm's doing his best to hold on.
Thrilling finish coming up with 3/4 of the way home. Jake Malcolm's barely holding on at the moment. Nathan Penn to the inside as they exit turn number 2. And Laurie Dowsett 3/4 track high around the outside of Luke Fraser. The 14 car's going to go to the top shelf. To the outside of Kyle Sayer. Here comes the Dowsett's Automotive Falcon from Albany on the outside of Fraser. He hits 4th place and very shortly be challenging Kyle Sayer for 3rd as Nathan Penn throwing everything at the race leader. They come down the back straight past the Griffin Cole sign. We'll have 8 laps remaining in the state final for modified sedans this time around. Jake Malcolm, he's led for 32 laps. Can he hold on for 8 more? Nathan Penn throwing everything at him in the right way. Industrial Ford Falcon, a big lunge into turn number 1. Looking to the inside of Jake Malcolm. They're side by side as they exit turn number 2. And Laurie Dowsett is clearly in 3rd. And the 14 car is coming for the race lead. Here comes Albany's Laurie Dowsett. The top 5 are split by barely a second. They come out of turn 4 and Jake Malcolm still leads with 7 to run. Has he got the better of the battle between himself and Nathan Penn? He's put 0.4 of a second between himself and the 2 pink Falcons behind him. Dowsett is 3rd from Kyle Sayer, Luke Fraser, Callum Ball, and Sean Thayer is back in 7th, but all of a sudden is storming towards the front of the field. 6 to run for Jake Malcolm. He started on the outside of the front row. He's led from the green flag. He's encountered 1 stoppage and he has 5.5 laps between himself and an historic victory as Paul Stevens retires from the race here in the main straight and the Edwards Holden Commodore from Narrogin. 5 to run, just 5 remaining for Jake Malcolm. The car has at times been a little bit evil for him to drive, but he's held on so far. He's just a young fella in his early 20s. Laurie Dowsett has a big moment, gives up 3rd place to Luke Fraser. Dowsett goes back to 4th. He's got the 3 Commodores of Sayer, Ball and Sean Thayer line astern behind him for 4th on back. 4 to run. 4 to run for Jake Malcolm. His mum and dad must be extremely nervous at the moment. Big supporters of his racing. Kim and Caroline back over there in the pit area as the state champion Brandon Fraser is another retirement of the race. Here comes Nathan Penn to the inside. 3 to run of the Max Payne History Collie Speedway and an exciting final for this year's modified sedan state title. And all of a sudden, the 15 car of Luke Fraser might be a contender to work his way into the top 2. 2.5 laps remaining. Luke Fraser is storming towards Nathan Penn. Does he go to the outside? Here comes the 15 of Luke Fraser. We've got 2 to run in the modified sedan state title for 2020, 2021. The 42nd running. Nathan Penn, a big lunge into turn number 1. They go out of turn 2 and down the back straight for the final occasion. Luke Fraser again to the outside of Nathan Penn. Penn shuts the door as they enter turn number 3. The white flag on display. 1 lap remaining as Luke Fraser goes to 2nd. Around the outside of a slowing Nathan Penn. Penn just slowed in the front straight. 1 to run. Will Fraser go to the outside? He gives Malcolm a bit of a touch on the back bumper. Down the back straight for the last time. Here comes the 15 to the outside of Jake Malcolm. They're side by side through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. They race to the line. Another photo finish in a state title. And Jake Malcolm gets it by 0.027 of a second. 0.027 of a second. Jake Malcolm holds off Luke Fraser.
Nathan Penn was third from Laurie Dowsett and Kyle Sayer. What a finish to the Modified Sedan state title. And Jake Malcolm, a giant-killing performance. The 23 Commodore becomes the new West Australian Modified Sedan champion. He held off Luke Fraser in an unbelievable finish here in Collie by 0.027 of a second. What is it with state titles this year in close finishes? What a finish. The Civil Hirings Falcon of Luke Fraser. The big lunge on the outside. He went around the outside of Kyle Sayer. He went around the outside of Laurie Dowsett. He went to the top shelf on Nathan Penn. Stormed to the front and didn't quite get it. What a drive from Luke Fraser. Nathan Penn held on to third by 0.9 of a second over Laurie Dowsett. Kyle Sayer fifth from Callum Ball, Sean Thayer, Sam McCauley, Alan Mortimer and Josh Stewart, your 10 finishers. I'm nearly out of breath. What a finish from the Modified Sedans. Jake Malcolm, as he heads down the back straight, ladies and gentlemen. Put your hands together for the driver of car number 23, Jake Malcolm. What a drive. 2 heat wins across the weekend, qualified on the outside of the front row, and the 23 car gets it done here tonight in Collie. He celebrates, as you would well expect, with a few donuts to those racing tyres that have served him so well this weekend.
Not bad.
As he comes into the front straight, Collie, let's hear it for Jake Malcolm, who held on barely by 0.03 of a second over Luke Fraser. What unbelievable finishes we've had in state titles this year in Western Australia. The production sedan title came down to the line, and here in Collie this weekend, the modified sedan state title come right down to the wire. An unbelievable finish. Luke Fraser, a big lunge on the final corner. Went to the outside, found a bit of racetrack to work with, three-quarter track guy. An unbelievable job. Well, the modified sedan's a little bit of smoke coming from the number 23 Commodore Jake Malcolm, but he wouldn't be worried about that at the moment. As he climbs from the car, ladies and gentlemen, let's hear it for him, Collie. Jake Malcolm, the new West Australian Modified Sedan champion. What a performance here in Collie. Held off Luke Fraser, Laurie Dowsett and Nathan Penn. They all had a lunge at the 23 Commodore over the course of that race. He's absolutely pumped. He's shaking down here. He can't get the safety gear off quick enough. What a finish. Unbelievable stuff. As we move the trophies into position, we're going to have the presentations getting underway very shortly.